Sophie Cunningham showed that she is, the old Caitlin Clark enforcer. She is the Caitlin Clark enforcer. That has been shown. She is the enforcer that the Fever have needed for the last year, and she has responded.
What happens when Sophie Cunningham ditches the basketball and picks up the bodyguard badge like she's been hired by the Secret Service just for Caitlin Clark? Absolute pandemonium. We're talking full-on emotional demolition, locker room tempers flaring, and Sophie dishing out smoke like it's her job. Sitting there, I kept thinking to myself, is anybody on this team going to stand up for Caitlin Clark? Jacy Sheldon had been grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. Tonight was a brawl, folks, and I kept wondering, is anybody going to stand up for her? Then came Sophie Cunningham. When Sophie snapped, it wasn't a flicker, it was a full superhero origin story. She didn't just show up to play. She showed up to dismantle the entire Connecticut Sun like she'd been planning it all season. This wasn't just drama. It was scorched earth policy, and you better believe the fallout came in hot. So, how did Sophie break her silence after getting ejected for defending Caitlin Clark from the Connecticut Sun Bullies? Let's break it down. If you support Sophie, then comment Enforcer Sophie down below. Let's go. Let's start with the play that set off the entire night. As you can see, Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin nudges her off because Jacy stays in her face. Then Tina Charles runs over and starts wagging her finger in Caitlin's face. Suddenly, Marina Mabrey comes flying out of nowhere and chucks Caitlin Clark to the floor. Let's watch this in slow motion. Jacy Sheldon swipes Caitlin in the face. There's one. Going for the ball? Maybe. But she catches her in the eyeball. Caitlin's going to have to start wearing goggles. Then Caitlin pushes her off like, why are you still in my face? Then Marina Mabrey, like a bat out of hell, comes in and throws Caitlin. From the moment Sophie Cunningham laced up, the whole WNBA should have been on high alert. She didn't clock in for a typical shift, she clocked in for warfare. She wasn't there to shoot threes and run pick and rolls. No, Sophie came with a one-item agenda. Make sure nobody touches Caitlin Clark without immediate, life-altering consequences. Think of her as a human firewall. Cross her perimeter and you're getting torched. Welcome to WNBA Fight Night. Or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. Basketball, fighting, and blonde-on-blonde crime. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever win, 88-71. Let's be real. Sophie wasn't moving like a teammate. She was moving like the head of security at Area 51. You throw an elbow at Caitlin. Boom. Sophie materializes out of nowhere with the wrath of 10 angry gym teachers and a crossover that doubles as a warning. You bump Caitlin post-whistle? Congratulations. You've summoned the basketball Grim Reaper in a ponytail, and she's got receipts. Here's the key play. Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, Sheldon hits the floor, and all hell breaks loose. Sophie says, I'm not having it. We'll go. That was all a byproduct of what happened right before it. And let me tell you, social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now. Not in a good way. That's an understatement. Sophie doesn't do warm-up jogs. She does territorial patrols. She scans the court like a hawk with caffeine jitters, ready to intercept chaos before it lands. And when it does, she's the court's judge, jury, and executioner. One wrong move around Caitlin, and Sophie's already halfway into your lane, delivering justice with a side of shoulder check intimidation. Her body language doesn't say, let's play. It says, try me and meet your chiropractor. Of course, Marina Mabrey got ejected. That was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should have been a flagrant one on Jacy Sheldon, too. She swiped Caitlin in the eyeball. Whether intentional or not, it's still a flagrant foul. But here's what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, and Tina Charles were assessed technical fouls. That's it. Jacy Sheldon was assessed a flagrant one. No ejections. This woman isn't just a deterrent. She's an omen. Other players stretch before games. Sophie loads metaphorical ammo. While coaches talk about strategy, Sophie's plotting divine retribution for anyone thinking about getting spicy with the Fever's golden child. One glare from her, and even seasoned vets suddenly remember they left the oven on. There's no halfway with Sophie. She's not here for the pre-game vibes. She's here to throw down like it's the Hunger Games and Caitlin's holding the last district. This level of fearless loyalty is practically extinct in the league. While some stars are curating playlists and practicing mindfulness, Sophie is storming into the arena like a berserker with court clearance. She's bringing that 90s bruiser energy wrapped in a modern-day, don't mess with us mentality. It's instinct, not strategy. You can't teach this kind of ferocity. It's a personality trait with sneakers. The league hasn't seen this kind of, I'll burn it all down before I let you touch her, energy since Rodman was body slamming folks in the paint. I feel good. Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down. Regroup. I just said, let's get straight to the plays everybody's talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. Jacy Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin in the eye. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. She bumps up on Caitlin. Caitlin says, get your hands off me. Then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom. Exploding Caitlin like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there. Now, let's get into the real issue. Caitlin Clark didn't walk into this league. She got thrown into the lion's den with a target on her back the size of Indiana. People weren't playing her. They were hunting her. Not just defenders either. Entire rosters had it out for her like she owed them money. It wasn't enough to outscore her. No, they wanted to make a statement. Elbow her into the Gatorade cooler and send a message. But what they didn't account for. Sophie, watch your mouth. Cunningham sat front row with a vendetta. Literally about a minute and a half into recording this reaction earlier, with 1 minute left, all hell broke loose between Jacy Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham. It's very clear that the Indiana Fever, some of these girls, are finally fed up. They didn't realize one woman could shut down a whole press of pettiness. Sophie turned Clark's target zone into a demolition zone. You try to rough Caitlin up, now you're on Sophie's hit list. This wasn't just about team chemistry. It was personal. Sophie appointed herself protector-in-chief. And let me tell you, her background checks are thorough and come with consequences. She reads vibes like some people read box scores. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus you've got going on. And we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the previous incident that was clearly not handled correctly